Hey friends, in today's video I am going to reflect, share my feelings about living with COVID for 6 months. Now, this is kind of almost for me so that I can get some of this out, as well as I want to be able to look back on this later when I know we're all finished with it and remember some of these things. But I'm also hoping that if any of you are feeling the way I'm feeling, it may make you feel like you're not as alone and hopefully be helpful. So I'm going to go through the good, bad, the ugly, and the sort of sad. Welcome to the Dress Up Mom. If you're already a subscriber, thank you, and I love you. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and tap the bell for notifications. Okay, so it has been just about 6 months since we got stay-at-home orders and the whole COVID situation really became a situation, and we knew that it was going to be. I did a video, I think previously, maybe at the 3-month mark, and I'm now coming to you here after 6 months. So, I also know that I am fortunate because overall things are not that bad for us here, and so many people are in such worse situations, but still, I'm not gonna lie, this has been kind of tough. I'm gonna keep it pretty real here, and I hope I don't get whiny, and I will talk about some of the good things that have happened, but maybe sort of think, my parents, I don't know if I've shared this, but I am first generation American, and my parents immigrated here to the US after World War II. They were both children of war. So I literally grew up hearing war stories, both from my parents, my grandparents, all of their friends, and even as a kid, I was sort of fascinated by these stories. Now, there were some that were just horrific and a lot of sad things, but I couldn't help but notice that sometimes they were telling these stories of really kind of fun and happy things that were happening to them during war. Now, I am not likening what we're going through to war, but it's kind of challenging. It's probably the most challenging time I've lived through in a number of different ways, not just COVID, but political unrest and everything else that's going on. So I guess what I'm saying is we don't get to really put a pause button and say, okay, I'm gonna pause life now because things are kind of difficult, and then I'll come back to it. Life continues to happen. So in one of those situations, a big life event that I had is that my mom passed away a couple weeks ago. Now, it wasn't from COVID, and she had been declining for a couple years at least, and her quality of life was not that great. She had Alzheimer's, she had some heart issues and everything else. But still, definitely COVID made things a lot worse. She ended up in the hospital with her Alzheimer's, and none of us could go in and see her until they thought she was passing away, where they gave us this special dispensation where we got to go in and do that. She ended up pulling out of that miraculously, lived a couple more weeks, and was able to go back to her assisted living place with my dad and be on hospice, and we actually got to see her a couple times and have some really poignant moments with her there in the end. Now, again, since it was COVID, we couldn't really go there very often, but I have to say the place where my parents are staying was really great about it, and we did get a chance to go in there several times. My mom was also a very religious woman, and it was really nice that they allowed our priest to go in and read her last rites, and she had, well, all of us had quite a moment there when she came out of her state and actually started crossing herself. It was really beautiful. So we did get some chances to do that, but it made things a lot more difficult. My mom was also somebody who probably would have thought she would have had a large funeral. She sang in the choir and was very active at her church, and I'm sure that there were a lot of people that wanted to come and do that for her, but we couldn't do any of that. We ended up having a very small, intimate family, 10 of us or so, just at her gravesite. So in a way, that was kind of special and made it really a nice sort of family event. And We didn't have to deal with a lot of other people, if you will. But again, it was just so strange because I would have never thought that that would have been my mom's funeral. I'm also really realizing the things that I do miss a lot and the things that I didn't really realize I would miss so much. I so miss being led in exercise. So I'm somebody who likes to exercise. I thought I did. You know, I thought I was really self-motivated to exercise, and I kind of am. I'm forcing myself to go take these long walks and trying to do some stretching and some things on my own. But I didn't realize how much the discipline of actually having classes to go to, having people that guided you through these classes was so important to me. My yoga practice, I've been doing it for 20 years, hot yoga, and I miss it so much. Now, I know that I know the poses and the postures myself, and I can do them, and I have been trying to do some of them as often as I can. But the whole community, the experience of getting away from an hour and completely unplugging. I get distracted when I do it here on my own. Getting away, completely unplugging, getting that amazing sweat in my whole skin. I'm just kind of a wreck here now. I know my eczema's been sort of coming back. I think that has to do somewhat with stress and just different situations, but I really think it has to do with not having my yoga practice where I would just sweat everything out of my body 3-4 times a week. And I just can't wait for that to open up, although I think it's gonna be a really long time, I feel like. So I've got to figure something out. I also would do Orange Theory Fitness with my husband a couple times a week, and that was something that we loved doing. Doug would do it like 4 times a week. We desperately miss that. So looking forward to when it's safe to have that all open back up again. For my husband, watching me go through things with my mom made him realize how much he misses his mom. His mom lives in Illinois. We're in San Diego. We had booked flights way before COVID, and then we haven't been able to go, and it's really been hard for him not to see his mom. It's been about a year. We tried calling her, but it's not the same. So as soon as that feels safe for him, he's a cancer survivor, so we're being really careful because of immunities, but as soon as that is safe or he feels safe, he's gonna go out and see his mom, because it does make you realize that you just don't know how much time you have with somebody. On a positive note, if you've been following along on the channel, we did have this opportunity to completely renovate our house. And since we've been spending so much time in it, that has been really nice. Now, it was a little stressful, and we did decide to do this even before COVID. I know that a lot of people are renovating now because of this and staying at home. Luckily, we were a little ahead of the game and had started that or the process of it and found our people beforehand, because I'm hearing that it's pretty difficult to get really good people to help you with your renovations now, since so many people are doing it. But that has been really nice. The end result of it and having a much nicer space here to be spending so much more time in, it has been really nice. So that's been a high point and keeping me pretty busy. We miss our karaoke. I had no idea how much of a karaoke couple we are. We had this amazing group of people that we would see probably twice a month. We would go every other week or so. It was our date night. So much fun. Doug and I both love to sing. I so miss singing. I mean, I know I can sing here to myself or in the shower, but just singing out loud I miss. We would dance, we would laugh, we would have this community of people, and I so miss it. And that's another thing that I think is going to take like a really long time. I mean, singing indoors, microphones, that's going to take a really long time. Been trying to stay a little connected with that group, but it's not the same. I can just imagine the first time that we all get to go up there, sing our songs, dance, and have a great time getting together again. One positive thing is I live close to the beach, and that has been open and just a sanctuary for this whole time. It was closed for a little while, and that was really awful. But I got to spend so much more time at the beach than I normally would. I got to surf a lot more than I normally would. I even got my daughter hooked and into surfing, which is great and something that we will share like for many years going forward. So the beach, my surfing, all of that, walking down there, that has been such a blessing and something that I've gotten to do a lot more. So that's a positive. We've also really been trying to stay learning, if you will. We bought that master class. I don't know if you guys have heard of master class. My husband got that when it went on sale, and we've been really enjoying learning from masters in their fields and at least trying to keep our minds a little bit sharp here during this weird time. I have a closet full of clothes just sitting there that I haven't been wearing. The first 3 months or so, I did at least try to have a little bit of fun, put my clothes on, put something on every day. I'm not gonna lie, I really haven't been doing that. It's either been like pajamas and loungewear or exercise stuff that I've been putting on. Every once in a while when we have occasion to go somewhere, which might be just grab something to eat, not even the grocery store, I've been a slob in the grocery store. I've let myself go in that regard. I really have. And I just am looking forward to getting back to that. In one sense, I haven't spent any money on clothes because I haven't been wearing anything really, and I have a whole closet full of it. So whatever I would have spent on that, I've been spending on the house. But that, and like makeup, you know, I put a little bit on here, but I have to like remember how to do it. There hasn't been any of that going on. My hair is a whole nother story. Look how long it is. I mean, I haven't had my hair cut in since December. What is that, like almost 9 months I'm going on without having it professionally cut. Now, part of it I'm kind of getting into. It's like, whatever, it's getting long. This is all natural, my color and my wave. I did try doing my bangs a couple times. I had a tutorial by Jane Matthews where she taught me how to do it. I did it with her live once over the video, and then I played that video back for myself and cut them again. I'm waiting for her to cut my hair. So I had already booked with her in March. Then we couldn't do that because of COVID, and she got a flu or something when she was in San Diego, so I couldn't do that. Then things were starting to open back up again, and Jane had this horrible motorcycle accident. Now, thank the Lord, she actually is recovering from that nicely. She doesn't look like she's gonna have any damage that's gonna be lasting. So she's going to be in LA next month, and she promised me that I would be somebody that she would cut. So I'm looking for a pretty dramatic makeover here. I'm gonna just kind of put myself in her hands and see what happens. But yeah, this is really, really the longest and craziest and most wild my hair's been. Speaking of wild hair, we also, Doug and I, had to go to the DMV during all of this. Now, we needed to get that real ID, and what happened is we had like a couple of our appointments that kept getting switched over and moved over. So we finally got one, and it happened to be on one of the hottest, most humid days in all of San Diego. And at the DMV, they make you wait outside, or at least at ours, we were waiting outside. So literally, even with an appointment, waited outside sweating for a good hour and a half before we got in there. Now, I don't know what I was thinking about this photo that was gonna happen with my driver's license. I could have very easily, you know, put my hair back, put it up. I just wasn't thinking at this point. I was just so over the whole thing, and it was time to take a picture. I knew it wasn't gonna be great, but it is awful. It is like the worst. I will try to kind of put this in a way that you can actually see it. I'm kind of laughing so hard though, because I thought about going and doing it again, you know, but I think this is the perfect expression, the perfect representation of 2020. I think I'm gonna keep this for a little while, because oh my gosh, I mean, who would take this photo and not come back and tell me, you know, let's do another one? As I mentioned, there is also a lot of political unrest, a lot of division here in the US, so many things that have just broken my heart. The Black Lives Matter movement, all of that, which I feel very strongly for. And I'm just, again, my heart has been broken so many times. I have cried and just broken down, and I'm trying to educate myself about the whole thing, how I can be part of the solution for everything that's going on here. So that has really been something that's been weighing on me, and just the struggles that everybody is having right now. Again, I'm so lucky, and our family is so lucky. I'm working from home. I still have a job. Things, you know, who knows what'll happen, but at the moment I still have one. Keep hearing about potential depression and recession, and then you just never know. Will I get laid off? I hope not, but for right now, I'm working from home, which I love, and continuing to do that. Doug has a class up on Udemy that is doing really well. The kids are doing so well. So proud of Dane. He works with nurses on the front line, that he is placing them at hospitals where they're needed, working really hard to do that. And Tiana is doing super well too. One of the really positive things that happened is just this past week, she got to give a virtual speech at a women's tech group. We watched that and were brought to tears with pride. She did such a fantastic job. Just so proud of her. And again, we're doing fine financially. My heart is broken, and so I don't know how people are gonna make it. I really hope we can all make it and things start to turn the corner, but I don't know. I guess I'm right now feeling like nothing is certain, have no idea how long this is all gonna last, and it's getting a little tiring. What a bummer this video has been. Like I said, there have been some times that I have had a great time working with my friend Jackie on the house. I've gotten to see her so much more than I normally would have with our schedules. That's been such a highlight. Still getting to be with the kids. We had a small staycation, getting to spend more time with Doug. So overall, like I said, I can't complain too much. Things are well, but I wanted to just kind of get this out there. I'm so curious to know how you all are doing, how everybody's feeling, how we're all coping with this. And again, hopefully we have turned some corner, but we really don't know. So thank you for watching. Until next time, try to have some fun and dress it up a little.